Hello. Cool, that's my first Facebook Live. I've sort of given up at the moment on editing videos and recording videos for YouTube because then it takes me ages and hours to render whatsoever, and then it comes up with weird. It just turns out weird and doesn't work properly. Anyway, so this is meant to be just a few quick thoughts on weight management and weight loss. I've been doing a lot of research and studying in the frame of my health coaching program and other things, products that I'm trying at the moment to get my energy levels up to their full potential. So yeah, I've been in the frame of that. I've been doing a lot of research on those products, on nutrition, on everything in holistic health in that frame when it comes to nourishment and our secondary food, which is the food that we actually eat. So our nutrition, like drinks, fruit, veg, stuff like that. And I feel like there's a common misperception as I've been especially reading through a few scientific reviews of certain products, supplementary products and weight loss, weight management products, nutritional things. And that is that sorry, horsefly. There are even scientists out there, there are researchers out there and people that put nutrition out there on a very one-sided scale. And nutrition is one field where it seems like one theory fully contradicts the other one, and there's so many different opinions and so many ways of doing it. So it's really hard to find you right or wrong when it comes to nutrition, weight management and so forth. And that is because of basically the law or principle of bioindividuality, which means that we are all different. Like no one is exactly the same as someone else. So one man's food is another man's poison and vice versa, and not just with food, it's like that with many things. Like what works for one person might not work for the next. Anyways, I find that a common misperception is that people keep going on about if you want to manage or lose weight, it's all about calorie input versus output. It's about taking in less calories than what you give out or what you burn. And I mean, it is true to a degree, but it's a very shallow, a very stripped version of what's actually up with nutrition and energy exchange and what's beneath that surface. Because that's just the surface, It's the surface. It's the basic law of energy transformation, basically. Like what comes out has to come back in, how above so below, and below sort of thing. But if you look more at nutrition, like it's not as simple as take in less calories than what you put out, like burn more than what you eat in energy, because there's different nutrients and different forms of calories out there. There are basic nutrients like fats, proteins and carbs, but there's also then all other little trace minerals, antioxidants, enzymes and so forth that have a really big impact on how our body is actually able to take in the nutrients we eat, to how to absorb and transform and convert them. So if you're trying to lose weight or manage weight and you're just going by I'm just taking in less calories than what I put out, it's not just about the number of calories. Like there's a massive difference whether you're living off white pasta and white rice on a lower average calorie intake than living on whole foods and a whole food nutrition with the same or a little bit more of a calorie intake than what you. Sorry, I hope that makes sense. I'm just trying to put it all into words the way it is in my head. So, there's different foods have different nutritional value regardless to the calorie number that's on the package. So, obviously, whole foods like whole grains, real food as like fruits and vegetables and seeds and nuts and things like that, like organic, nutritious, real food that's unprocessed, unrefined, no refined sugars, they have a way higher, way better nutritional value than all artificial foods out there, than foods that are refined or that are yeah, that are refined, that are in grains that are stripped of their hulls and things like that. You know, they just, with everything you strip away, with every more processing that a food is undergoing, you lose nutrient quantities as well as nutrient quality. So when it comes to weight and becoming healthy, like healthy weight loss and healthy weight management, it's really about the quality of nutrients we take in, the rather than just the energy. Because if you translate fats, calories, and proteins into their energy values, basically, proteins and carbs have as much calories per gram as each other. And I think fat is actually the same, or don't quote me on this, it might be a little bit more, but I think protein and carbs are 4 calories per gram, and fat would be 4 to 6 as well. So meaning it's the same energy intake, regardless to whether you eat those carbs or proteins, you know. So that's just a really surface scratching thing, this perception of like, oh, I'm just looking at the amount of calories. Because then another thing is, muscle is heavier than fat, for example. So you can't just go by your bathroom scale to see whether you're actually losing weight in a healthy manner, whether you're actually holistically nourishing your body or not. The bathroom scale doesn't actually have to say very much about this, because it's all about our nutrient absorption. And it's also, you know, you might actually, if you're eating the wrong foods, you might actually think that you're losing weight, but you're losing muscle instead of fat. Fat is lighter than muscle, you know. So they're just those really shallow and not very accurate indications, like the weight is on the scale and the calorie intake. So what you really want to make sure when you're eating consciously and healthy in order to keep your body healthy and your weight healthy is the nutrients that you're taking in. So eat whole grains, eat whole foods, and eat real foods over processed foods. Eat fresh foods over packaged stuff. Cook at home over eating out, because it's nutrient richer, and also energetically the food that you're preparing yourself with your own energy, with your own ritual, putting your own love, your own effort into it, is has a higher vibration on an energetic level than what processed food or restaurant food has. Also, you never really know if you buy food out, you buy it packaged, you buy it processed and so forth. There's only so much standing on the label, but if you really look at where does it come from, there's only so much we know. You know, like they only put on labels what they want us to know or what they want us to think. There's so much BS in the whole health and wellness industry, just as anywhere else in the whole food industry, because it's all interlinked. It's all about, sometimes, quite often, it's more about making money and profits rather than actually getting people healthy. It's really about listening to your own body, figuring out what your own body needs, and eating the freshest, most real food available to you to get those nutrients you need. And then there's another thing, so it all depends on like how much detoxification our body has already endured. So it's not just about the food we're taking in, it's also about the environment we live in and like how we live our lifestyles. Like we can either balance our body in so many ways, we can also toxify our body in so many ways. For example, you know, you might eat all the fruit and veg in the world, but it's coming from, and not saying that it's just colds, but it might be coming from like the next door supermarket. That comes from, I just heard that story the other day, it comes from a carrot farm a few k's further up north, where they use all those pesticides and chemicals. There was an issue that was a while ago that this named carrot farm, they gave all the leftover carrots to pig farm to have as like animal food for the pigs too. And a few months later, many of those pigs showed up with tumors after they've been, you know, being fed those carrots, because those carrots have been GMO'd, they've been sprayed with pesticides, chemicals and so forth, and see what it's been doing to the pigs. So if it can, or even if a pesticide thingy can kill little bugs and insects, then you can be well sure that on a cellular level this also affects our human body, you know. And it starts from one cell, like, and that's where it expands from. Like we all had this in school in biology, like cell replication. Every cell has their own DNA, their own, I keep forgetting what the center bit is called, nucleus, you know, and from there, that's where all the information is stored. So it might start with toxins in one cell, but cells replicate. That's what life is. Life is change. Life is replication, is renewing energies. That's how energy transforms. So that's how disease starts as well as balance. So it really depends on just, you know, what you eat, where you source it from, where it comes from. And tracing it even further back, it also, and that's another real thing I'm really passionate about, and I might just do another video on this, is nutrient depletion is not only in our food, in our processed and refined foods, it's also, although we think we're eating super healthy and eating all this fruit and veg and so forth, it actually starts in our soils. So if we look around the world, the way agriculture goes these days, because our population has grown, our technology has advanced, and all those new techniques came in, like GMO, new pesticides to, you know, increase the harvests, get more foods, get bigger crops, and so forth. That in the long run, not actually too long, because it's all within one generation, we pay a big tax on, it's really taxing on our environment. So there's a big as nutrient depletion going on in our agricultural soils, the grounds where we grow our foods in, meaning if the plant that we're then going to eat already lacks on all those minerals, those vitamins, all those nutrients that are essential for the plant to not just grow but to thrive, to take in all those nutrients, to transform them, make them their own, thrive, then we're going to eat the plant to and hopefully absorb the nutrients as well, but they haven't been there in the first place. Means although we're eating all those carrots and broccoli and things like that, it just hasn't been in there, and it comes back to the soils. So, and that's another, yeah, that's just another video for another time. I could just keep ranting on about this for the whole day. So yeah, but that's just what I wanted to tap into, basically. And I spiraled up a little bit, coming from initially weight loss. That was my my summary, my key, I guess. Weight loss, healthy, holistic weight management, maintaining a healthy body, is not at all about calories in, calories out. It's about the nutrient side of things. It's about whether or not there are nutrients, essential nutrients in the foods we eat in order to obtain or maintain a healthy body. And it's about whether or not we're actually able right now to absorb those nutrients properly. That's something I just briefly touched on, because if we're already, that's what I wanted to say, if we're already intoxicated basically by all those, you know, chemicals, pesticides, all those artificials, all those processed things, if that's already in our body, it blocks or really influences negatively very vital body functions and the function of our body to absorb nutrients the way it's supposed to. Therefore, it influences our adrenal glands, which is our stress correspondence. So our stress hormones increase, go up, like cortisol and so forth. And it also really, really depletes our immune system, because all those chemicals, all those toxins we're taking in through foods that haven't been sourced or grown or processed the right way, as well as other stimulating things, other things like smoking, caffeine, wrong lifestyles, like having really taxing work to do, like spray painting, or, you know, these are all just examples. All this has a big tax, a toll on our body. So all these already block all the receptors of our cells, these receptors that are meant to attract and dock on all these nutrients in order to come into the cell to do their thing, bring our body to thrive. Those chemicals are blocking this off, therefore depleting our immune system already and so forth. So that's where, yeah, another point is that the state of our nutrient absorption, like how well or not well are we able to absorb the nutrients that we take into our body, if we take them in. So yeah, I'm just gonna cut it off here, because that's probably a little bit of food for thoughts. Let me know if there's any questions. If you're watching this, start a discussion. It's something I'm just really all over at the moment, doing my fair share on study and research on, and because, yeah, I mean, food is life, you know. It's like how we live life and how we thrive really depends on like what we decide to let in, and that's on the level of food and nutrition, as in proper what we just talked about, like the food we actually eat, as well as everything else in our life. Everything we experience is food, you know. Our lifestyle, the relationships we have, our career, our belief systems, all like everything, that every experience is really food for our life, food for the soul, and influences the way we develop, and that can be either positive or it can be negative. So yeah, it's a bit of food for thought. Pretty quickly I branched out into all over the show, but yeah, cool. Thanks for watching if you did watch this, and I'm gonna figure out how to finish this, and I hope you're all having an amazingly beautiful, sunny and warm day. It's the 3rd day of summer, at least down here in the southern hemisphere. So enjoy, guys. Ciao for now.